Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today is December 4th, 2011, and you're watching Overgrowth weekly number 51. So I'm Silverfish, and here, as well as usual, is Mr. Anton Real.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Sup, Anton?
I feel like I'm repeating myself. I'm just working like crazy. Sup with you?
Well, school, and this weekend I've actually been chilling a bit, which is quite unusual actually. But I just didn't feel like doing any work, and there is no work that I needed to do that's like, okay, this needs to be done next week or anything like that. So it's been kind of good.
Nice. I actually took a little time off last night too, for the first time in quite a while, and ended up playing some video games with Diablo Doc.
Oh, nice.
It's fun times.
Sounds cool. So, for my current programming project, it's actually an Overgrowth themed game, which is kind of cool.
I saw that. It it made me smile to see. I watched the video like 10 times, or maybe once. You know. But either way, it was pretty awesome.
Give or take a few.
Exactly.
And
you also did something else that looks very awesome.
Yeah, and we're going to take a look at that and the game a bit later in the show, actually. So that should be cool.
Sweet.
Yeah. Other than that, we have a pretty cool announcement. We have a pretty cool announcement to start off the show.
We're gonna start off the show that way. Nice.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Nice.
So next week is the 1 year anniversary of Overgrowth Weekly. It is the 52nd episode, and we're going to do something a bit special on that one.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a guest scheduled to join us on the show.
And the guest is Mr. David Rosen.
Yep. So, yeah, David has agreed to join us for the show next week, and it should be pretty awesome to get to chat with him about the game.
Yeah, it should be really, really great. And we can ask him about how he can write so quickly as well.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
It should be really cool. I'm really excited about that. And so should you be. And if you don't know who David is, he happens to be the main programmer of Overgrowth, actually the only programmer, and the founder of Wolfire, etc., etc. He's the dude of the dudes, so to speak.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that announcement. Should be really, really cool. So look forward to next week. Set your alarms. It's really going to be cool then. Let's jump into the show. First we have the weekly alpha as usual. This week it's alpha 159. So let's jump in here and take a look at what's new.
Wow, 159. That means 3 years almost, or more. More than 3 years of alphas. Pretty awesome.
A lot of alphas.
Yes.
For sure. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So first off, we have scripts can read string parameters as float or int. As you know, last week he added the ability to display text messages when you touched a box or whatever. And now you can add other stuff that's not text. You can add floats or int. And if you don't know what a float is, it's just a number that has a decimal value after. So that's really cool. That's what allows for a bunch of stuff. Like you often want to enter a number in many different cases.
Yes, absolutely.
And next we have characters can have parameters. And the next one added some character parameters, aggression, block skill. Now text is kind of messed up here, but we have block skill, block follow-up, damage resistance, attack speed, and movement speed. So let's actually take a look at those two in the game.
Nice. Yes, this is so cool. You guys, this is awesome. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it is indeed. So here we have. Oh, damn it! I concur.
Yes, you concur.
Yes, good. do I concur? Yes, good. So what you do to change the character parameters is you just double click the character so that he's selected, and you press U, and you get the parameter editor. And the aggression, block follow-up, and maybe blocked skill, I think, are just used by the AI. At least the aggression and block follow-up, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
I don't know if the block skill might make it easier for you to actually block when you're playing as well. I don't think so, though.
I don't think it does, but interesting to think about.
Yeah. Could it be something maybe used to change the difficulty? Who knows?
Yeah, although at the same time it would also sort of give the impression of having something that's progressive where you could get better at blocking, which I think is not the desired effect of the game, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's true. At
Meaning
the same
that
time,
starts to...
it would they would not have to use this in Overgrowth, but it would open up for easier modding capabilities. But then on the other hand, someone could very easily add this to their own mod if they wanted to. So
correct.
yeah. Anyways, we have here, for instance, I've changed the movement speed to 2, for instance, and that doesn't change the movement speed as it happens for some reason. It changes how quickly you move when you jump.
Well, it's also how fast you run too, right?
Not for me. I don't know. Maybe something's wrong with me.
You can accelerate. It's still based on the level of the ground. You can't run faster than physics, but if you increase that to a much higher number, you should actually notice that you can run faster. There you go.
I need to change. I changed this to 100, and I ran down a hill, and I couldn't see a change. I couldn't feel anything. Like, see, it's not anything big, but then when I jump, I'm like,
yeah. But it's funny because when you do jump, you actually you only jump in a straight line, so you don't adjust the height of the jump, which I think is an important aspect. So
I think so too. I think he probably should tweak this a bit to make it work better, like to work more like you would expect that it work. Because I changed it to 100 and I didn't run any quicker than I do when I changed it to 4, which feels weird. But when I jump, when I'm at 4, you can see I can jump very far.
Yes. I also think that these parameters would be nice. I know that they have some other UI elements, but these would also be cool to see on a slider. Meaning, since the average use should be from 0 to 1 and not usually above 1, to have a slider that shows you sort of what percentage you're using would be interesting. You could kind of then tweak things by dragging it out a little bit instead of just typing in a number.
Yeah, that would be cool. Maybe it could go from 0 to 200% even, or something like that. So you could go like super rabbit if you want to.
Right. Could be.
I'd enjoy that. Let's take a look at some more parameters.
Yes.
So we have damage resistance. Let's pull that up, and we're making a super rabbit here.
Well, then you also need to change the attack speed, because I found that damage resistance of 20 gives you a lot of resistance. You basically don't die.
Oh, I set it to 1,000.
Yes, you will never die. That's why I was laughing, because I was like 20 is plenty.
Okay, cool. Oh, let's change the attack speed to like 500. I want to see super rabbit action.
You don't just want super rabbit, you want it to be... it may actually crash the game to attack that fast.
It didn't. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, you need more enemies to really show off that attack speed. You should like spawn in like 10 more guys.
I'm going to do that.
But amazingly, they're still able to hit you. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I think it doesn't go up like infinitely, if you know what I mean. And then we change this guy aggression to 1 as well. And super block, follow up, and super block skill. Okay, we have our super rabbit. He should be able to kill anything now.
Pretty much.
It's not going incredibly well though.
Well, that just goes to show you that one fighter being taken on by 10 average fighters, you know, it's still hard.
Yeah. He is going to win though, obviously, but it took a while.
Of course, well, if he can't die.
Yeah. It should be pretty easy. But now he isn't reacting to that guy. I don't know what's going on. There we go. Owned all of them. He owned all of y'all. Yeah, so those are the parameters. They enable you to do so much with the game without even having to open a script file, which is really great. And it's going to be a super nice tool for mappers. Just this specific feature about changing character parameters, because you can easily make like an old grandpa that doesn't know how to fight, or like a cowardly soldier or whatever, where he might be good at fighting, but he will not have a very high aggressiveness, so he'll be mostly defensive, etc.
Right.
So this is going to be really great. I'm actually going to reload this without the checkboxes so we can see what it says. So next we have character scripts can now control animation speed. As you saw, as we showed off, you could change your attack speed, which actually changes the animation speed. So that can be done through the script now. And my guess is that you couldn't do that before, since it was just added. And I'm jumping over this one because there is this one that is related. Enemy AI directly queries the animation for appropriate block timing. So instead of using like a specific time for the blocking and such things, it actually looks at where the animation is currently when it decides when to block, because now that they can have different animation speeds, it doesn't make sense to have a fixed value for that.
Wow. It's a smart move.
Yeah, it makes sense. I guess he found out when he had super high animation speed that the enemy AI could never block because their block timing was always off by like half a second.
Crazy.
Yeah. Next we have the one above actually. Web views consume keyboard events if they have keyboard focus. So if you're typing into a text field, it won't like go through the box and into the game, if that makes sense. So you won't move the camera when you're typing WASD into a text field.
Yeah, although I have discovered that the 0 key on the number pad still brings up the I can't even think of what it's called. Some box. Like the normally it's assigned to the tilde key, but I can't remember what it's called. Sorry, guys.
Oh.
Not thinking.
That one doesn't appear for me when I am...
There it did. I see it.
Yeah, but like when I'm in the game and I press to get it out, I don't. I think it's another button for me. I don't know which one though. So that only happens for me when I actually have the parameter editor out, which is weird.
That is weird.
You should probably sub me to that bug report.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it, but I have not done it yet. So if you want to do it,
yeah.
So
I'll do that. Cool. Okay, so next we have enemies avoid each other more effectively, which is which is great. I think they didn't have any avoidance at all before this, or did they? I mean, for one another. They did the thing where they avoided the edges, but they didn't avoid each other, right?
Right.
And so now they do, which is great. It makes it feel more like they have a brain where they won't just move wherever they want to move. They will actually feel that there is a person there that they cannot walk through. So they won't try.
Yeah, you know, as always, little things that help make the game feel more real.
Yeah, which is great. Next we have more efficient dynamic shadow decals using the base model VBO. And VBO, if I recall correctly, stands for Vertex Buffer Object. And I guess that says nothing to you if you don't actually know what VBO means. But anyways, using the base model VBO instead of constructing a new cropped vertex array. It makes about as much sense to you as it does to me.
Yeah, not being a programmer or graphics designer, it makes probably even less sense to me.
Yeah. But the thing that makes this good is that more efficient dynamic shadow decals equals thumbs up. Great.
Yes.
So optimizations are good. A lot of people can actually play the game very well, which is a shame. But let's take a look at this. Like, I was talking about David's writing speed before, and we just need to check this out. If you look at the background, it's going at normal speed, and look at how quickly he writes. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Goodness me. Like,
I know that he speed reads, and I sort of wonder if that's related.
yeah. Some people talked about it on the forums. That's why I discovered it, and I think it has. You need to do the same thing where that you do when you speed read, which is, you know, not think about the words, just write the words. Just go directly through your eyes into your brain instead of through your eyes into your vocal cords and then to your brain.
Right.
Because you can actually read much quicker than you can speak, and when you read normally, you often read at the same speed that you would speak. But if you try to like do something else while reading, like, I don't know, humming or something like that, so that your vocal cords are doing something else, you might be able to trick your brain and be able to read quicker. And I think it's the same thing where you need to go, instead of going like from your brain through your mouth, so to speak, and into your fingers, you just go brain, finger, right.
Interesting. Yeah. You know, either that or else he did some fancy video editing so that the background kept moving and and he cropped that's, you know, I was like, maybe he did that.
Yeah,
like, man,
that would be
but
sneaky.
that would be sneaky, and then why would he do that?
Yeah.
You know?
It doesn't seem like a David thing to do. Oh, now everyone's going to think I write super quickly.
Right.
He's not that evil. Actually, I think he's not evil at all.
I don't think he is. True.
But he does have superhuman writing speed.
That he does.
So maybe he's a superhero, maybe he's super good. I think that's more plausible, actually. Well, anyways, that's the weekly alpha for this week. A lot of great stuff, and there are a few tweets talking about what's going to be in the next week's alpha, so stay tuned for that. And now we go into the community segment, where we take a look at what's new in the community. As usual, we have the fan art watch. Let's take a look at this. So we go into the fan art thread on the Wolfire forums and see what people have been doing here. Okay, so we have... I just need to check the date here, sorry. Okay, so the 28th was the Monday last week.
Right.
2nd of December.
There was a lot of fan art this week.
Yeah.
Our boy Shiny Gem has really been moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So we showed that last week, this image made by ShinyGem, and Last made his own shading on it to show how ShinyGem might improve the image. And yeah, I think it looks actually pretty good. Like,
Yes.
it looks better than the flatness of the original one, and it has a bit more contrast to it, which is nice.
Yeah, and some depth and a little character. I think it's cool.
Yeah. And then if we move on, Endo Perez made his version as well. So he says, here's the pic after using Sumo Paint's auto-tune filter and some other stuff. Don't be afraid to have darker backgrounds, especially on night pictures. It's kind of small, but yeah, you can see the picture right there. This is, I think, the best one so far of this image. It really shows, yeah, it looks much more nighty and has a bit more color and so on, so it's nice.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was pretty excited that it was so. You know, you really felt like there was something evil lurking beyond the circle of trees, or you know, that it really is night and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, it's nice. So well done, Endo Perez, and yeah, they give some really cool advice to ShinyGem as well. Okay.
Exactly.
Yes. So ShinyGem made these 2 images as well. First we have the sea dog, scurvy scurvy dog, I guess. There's actually a better version of this later on, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. And then we have the rabbit. I don't remember if there is a better version of this, but I guess there probably is. But since I don't know, I like this image. I think it's nice, but as usual, ShinyGem has some trouble with the legs.
Yeah.
So that's really something that he needs to work on. But besides, like, other than the legs, I think the image is really cool. Everything looks quite okay, and yeah, it has a bit of motion to it, since you can actually see that he's swinging the rope with the ears flapping in the wind and so on. It's nice.
Right. Exactly.
So moving on. We have the Summer Rabbit that he drew, I think we showed it last week. He now has a colored version of it, and yeah, I think it looks really great.
Yeah, I you know, it's funny. I actually tend to like certain things in the colored versions always look much better to me, and then certain things in the just the outlines look better to me, and I somehow wish there was a way to merge those 2 moments, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So like on this one, I always felt like the color kind of helped made him a little more real, but there was some details that I felt were lost that were there in the original. So, you know, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you need to, like, what you want to do is you want to use the color to actually bring out the details in the image and add a detail, because it's kind of hard to do that when you just have well, gray and white, I guess, to work with, as you do when you're using a pen.
True.
So that's, I think, just something that he needs to work on, trying to find the best way to use color to his advantage.
Yep.
But it's getting better. He's getting better.
Definitely, it's amazing, honestly, like watching his improvement from week to week.
Yeah, I fully agree. And of course we have Corbin here, Corbin3, who made a new Endoface picture. Yeah.
All right, Endoface.
And yeah, does this mean I have to put my pants back on? And then of course he doesn't have any pants on. I don't know how he actually managed to do this. I mean, it looks really like it's part of the image. So well done, man.
Yeah, nice job.
Some nice photoshopping or something right there. And then we have this image by Ilvali. This one is quite brutal. I think it's one of the most brutal images I've ever seen in my entire life. But I like it. Like the style on the image, and you know, everything about this image just feels right. It has I don't see a lot of weak points at all in it, actually.
Yeah.
It all just makes sense.
I think it's a pretty cool picture, and it's very visceral. So I love those, you know. Yeah, the mask is crazy awesome too.
Yeah. It's
I just
super
gotta
cool.
say.
And everything about this image, like the blood, the look on his face, the look on her face. She's so happy.
Yep, exactly.
So it's nice. Very well done by Valley. It's nice. And then we
Nice
have
job.
nice job indeed. And then we have this image, once again by Shiny Gem, the sea bunny. He did actually make a colored version of this one as well.
I think this is one that actually I think the colored version I like better than the original.
Yeah, I agree. He did add some shading and such things. The shading on this one is actually pretty good, I think.
Certainly better than some of the previous ones. I think that's a place where you really see the details come out with his drawings and his improvements.
Yeah, absolutely. What I'm kind of wondering about though is his eye. I'm not sure if his eye is closed or like why it would be closed in that case, or if it's open or what's going on there. It feels like he should either have like super shiny spot in his eye to indicate that his eyes are entirely black, or that he should have some white stuff in his eye to indicate that his eye is actually open. But now it's just kind of gray, and I'm not sure what's happening there.
That's kind of tricky with animals in general when they don't have irises the way that we do, like the whole eye is black, to help predators not know exactly which direction they're looking. So I kind of, you know, it's a tricky call. Do you give him more human-esque eyes, or do you give him more rabbit eyes, or, you know? So eyes are always tough in those situations.
Yeah, that's true. I think though that what he could do actually is just add a few white pixels there to indicate that there is like a shiny surface there that would indicate that there is actually an eye there. And I think that actually would do the trick.
Right. Okay, fine.
But I don't know, it might look weird. Maybe not. But nice image in general. I like it. Very nice.
Right.
And here we have the sea dog colored. This image is kind of light on the shading, but I think in general the coloring is nice. I like his extra leg right there. It really makes a lot of sense, I think.
The tail?
No, the like the fixed up leg.
Oh, the peg leg. I see. Yes.
Yes, the peg leg. Yes. I don't know English. What is this language?
Who knows?
I have no idea, Anton. But it's nice.
Sorry, I've been answering questions in IRC at the same time, so I've been a little distracted. Maybe I should focus.
Yeah,
I'm going to focus. Sorry, IRC. I'm going to stop paying attention to you as much.
IRC just got owned. But it's nice.
Poor
As
IRC.
I said, the shading is kind of flat though, so what I think he should do is work even more, like, don't be afraid to add more shading. But
Right.
the legs, like the pants that he has on his legs, look very nice, and in general, very nice.
Yes.
And if we move on, here we have a Platypus Papa by Shiny Gem once again.
Yes.
And yeah, he's a platypus. What more is there to say? He's super cool.
Yeah, well, and I mean, platypuses are awesome.
And this image, since I don't really know how an anthropomorphic platypus would look, I think it looks great.
Well, it's kind of hard because should a platypus really be anthropomorphized according to the rules of Overgrowth and Lugaru? Because it's technically not a mammal. They are, but they're not. They have characteristics that are both.
Like both a mammal and like what other groups are there? I don't even.
They are. They lay eggs like birds. They have the bill of a duck. They have webbed hands and toes and all that kind of stuff. So, but they also have marsupial traits too, like kangaroos, I think, and pouches and I mean, it's just like they're like, oh, we're like everything, So
Jack of all trades.
Exactly.
Well, I guess then they could be maybe have like a dog role, since dogs are the humans' best friends. But since the dogs in this game are actually humans,
right?
Like, if you understand what I mean, they're the same status of a human in our world. Then this guy, since he's almost like he would be quote human unquote in the Overgrowth universe, and he's kind of like a bird at the same time, so he could be the
right
human's best friend in this game.
It's a rabbit's best friend.
Yeah, it's a rabbit's best friend. It would be so cool to have like a platypus companion running with you.
For sure.
Yeah, so that's shiny gem once again. And here we have Ilvali is back with this camel drawing.
Yeah. And what I don't know is if Ivali is doing this because he saw the previous... Wow, it's huge. Saw the previous camel, because they do sort of have a hump in similar locations, or not. But it's awesome. It's green. And sandy.
Green and sandy. Absolutely. I think it's purple. So I mean, this doesn't make any sense to anyone who didn't watch like that episode like 6 weeks ago, or however long.
Sorry. Yeah, there's a long running joke that we're not allowed to say awesome or indeed anymore. So we're trying
to expand our vocabularies, and therefore at least I'm trying to use words such as I concur and copacetic, for instance. Those are the two ones that I remember out of like 50 that Anton has taught me. But yeah, this guy is copacetic. I really like him.
Yeah, he's cool. I actually like that he's sort of smoking a pipe. I like he feels like a wanderer through the desert. He's got all his stuff. It's easy to sort of hang it off his back. Even I actually really like the hooves. I think that they look they look pretty awesome. They look pretty cool. I mean, they're great. They look very well done.
Yes, I concur. Like with this guy's Ilvali's last image, this one to me is just like, it makes total sense, and I don't really have anything bad to say about it. It's just, everything just works.
Yeah, I really hope that it keeps sharing with us these images, because they're amazing. They really are.
Yeah. So cool. Very well done by Ilvali once again. And then he posts a higher res image of the other image that he drew.
Nice.
And here we have Shiny Gem once again with Mr. Furry Dog. It's a straight on shot of a dog. I think this one, it's kind of weird, while at the same time it looks, it's really nothing bad about it. I think it's just, I think the angle of his head is feels a bit weird, like he's looking down, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I think it's a great start with trying to do fur. I think I think the shape of the head is maybe a little too elongated. The nose. It's maybe you're right that it's just the angle of the nose, like, or of the face, is that it kind of looks like it's either stretched as opposed to sort of protruding from the face.
Yeah, exactly.
The way that the jaw is moving. So that makes it a little weird. So yeah.
And I see now that this image is actually mirrored, and I didn't see that before.
Interesting.
Yeah, but for a dog, just playing with the fur and whiskers and whatnot, trying a more realistic look, more than my usual, I guess. I took a shortcut, however, I'm not proud of it. Yeah, so I guess that's the mirroring, that's the shortcut he's talking about. But yeah, it's looking pretty cool. By Shiny Gem. And then we have I Want to Be an Artist with his, actually know what this is, Rottweiler, right?
Yes.
Rottweiler? Does he say that it's a Rottweiler?
I'm not sure. It's either a Rottweiler or a there's another dog it could be, but Rottweiler works. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
My mom has a Rottweiler. I don't like him.
Wow. Doberman. Yes. Thank you, Spagacious.
Someone in the chat also wrote Demon Dog. That makes sense. For at least as another word to call Rottweilers. I don't know. Well, anyways, this image is super duper cool. I like everything about this image. It is nice.
Yeah. He came in with a sort of an interesting username. I want to be an artist, and then he comes in and he just blows us away with highly detailed, highly ornate, very well colored, very detailed texture. I mean, wow.
More like I am an artist, am I right?
Well, everyone keeps making a joke about his name, that he sort of shouldn't be I want to be, but he should be I am. And if he doesn't have a job already, I think it's time to make him a job offer somewhere.
Yeah.
Because he should be working very soon.
I agree. And I think we're gonna have to start going through this a bit quicker now, actually, because...
Yeah, we spent a little more time on this than normal. There's also been a lot of artwork this week, so... Yeah.
So let's move quickly now. Okay, so I Want to Be an Artist made another one. It's Turner this time. Very well done, this one as well. But I have to say, I think it's not as good as the previous one, but it's still very, very good.
Right. The detail is great, although the ears seem big to me, and then some of the coloring seems, especially on the face, the coloring is a little off. But like, it's a great piece of artwork. I actually really like the musculature on the arms. I think that part of it is fantastic.
Yes, I concur. So that's what I Want to Be an Artist once again. Then we have this image by Shiny Gem. He's trying out his tablet and doing some quick sketching there with the sword bunny, and I think it's looking pretty good. So hopefully he can start using his tablet instead, because I think that would make him improve quicker. At least I think it's easier to use on tablets compared to drawing with pen and paper.
Right. Yeah, I think he'll have a better chance of really developing his images. So we'll see how it goes.
And then we have I Want to Be an Artist again with both of these characters in Mortal Kombat. And this time it's a bit more sketchy style that I actually really like. So once again, I Want to Be an Artist blowing me away.
As he should, because he's fantastic.
Absolutely. And then we have Shiny Gem once again. He's working it. He has worked a bit more with his tablet. Working on making this little rat dude, which is looking really great.
Yes.
I think his pen and paper skills are transferring very well onto the into digital form, so that's good to see.
Yes.
And then we have me, yay! With
yay!
This was the thing we were talking about before. I someone mentioned in the secret pre-order forum that they had used a program called let's see, Cycles. Yes, to create a texture, and I was kind of wondering what that was, so I checked it out, and it turned out that it was a renderer for Blender, and so I used it to create this picture that I'm now using as my desktop background. So
yay!
hurrah! It kind of replaces my old picture, since my other one looked almost exactly like this, but that was made in GIMP in 2D instead.
I think I might be using this on one of my computers also.
Nice. Yeah, I hope that
Yes.
people would appreciate the simplicity of the image. I think a lot of people do, and it would be really cool to see people actually using it, people that aren't me.
Exactly.
And then just 30 minutes ago, Shiny Gem posted this image of the Foxy Fox. So I haven't seen this one before at all. But the first thing that I reacted on was his groin. Like, it looks like his groin wants to be there, but then he has this space in between there, so I don't know what's happening there. But in general, this image, it's looking pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm glad to see his digital artwork is moving forward. I think it's a great start.
Yeah, absolutely. And the legs are looking better, which is good. And in general, I think the quality of the image is it's nice.
Exactly.
So,
yay, Shiny Gem. Keep going.
Yeah, nice job, and it's really cool to see you improving. So it's nice.
For sure.
Yeah, that's the end of the fan art watch. Nice. Now we just have like
Wow.
half the show left, and we've already been going for 45 minutes. We need to go. Okay, community side notes. It's like the community segment, but we do things a bit quicker, so we're actually going to try to do it quickly now. In 15 freaking minutes. Okay. The blood mod. Lars has updated his blood mod to work with the latest alpha. This adds cool blood effects and make it so that you cannot die if you want to. So that's really cool. Updated to work with the latest alpha. And then we have the main menu updated by main menu updater by Samus Aran 3 that he updated so that if you're running Windows, if you're running the updater on Windows, you don't need to tell the updater where you installed Overgrowth. It will automatically detect it for you, which is really nice. It makes it much easier and quicker to use the updater.
Yes, and if you guys want more levels for Overgrowth, be sure to go use this installer to install it. You get 50 some new levels of community made, as well as unlocking some of the unreleased, officially released Overgrowth levels from Wolffire. So totally worth getting.
Absolutely. And then we have this dev tool. It's an Angel script dump that Learn More does every freaking week. Which is really nice. It allows all scripters to take a look at what they can actually do with the scripting system for Overgrowth. So as you can see, they, for example, this week added a global property script params. They added a new object script params, and this is to player control. So yeah, you can just see all the things that you can do for when you're scripting for Overgrowth. It's like a handbook.
Yes, very useful.
Very handy handbook.
Exactly.
And then we have the Overgrowth 2D game made by me that I'm working on. I'm going to be working on this in the coming few weeks, like the coming month, I guess is appropriate way to say it. And
cool.
It's in a very primitive state right now, as you can see. I have moving and jumping and a bit of almost inverse kinematics. Like, as you can see when I walk down the steps here, you can see that I'm placed in between the step. And I will use that later to make it so that I have a different image. So when I'm standing on a step, for instance, he has 1 foot up and 1 foot down. And that is something that I think is really a big thing with the Overgrowth and Lugaru. So I decided to include something like that in my game at least.
Yeah, you definitely never see it enough in 2D games, side-scroller games, I think. Like, so many times the sprites just kind of move along and, there is no collision detection, so...
Yeah. So I just want to quickly explain how the collision works, because Zremulis asked. So, at the bottom of the character, if you pause here, at the bottom of the character, roughly a box of this size, it will check for foot placement, actually just where the feet are, and if it can place the feet on something, it will do that. And then in a larger box above, I have actual collision, so using that box, it'll collide like on the sides and stuff like that, and it's working, yeah, pretty well. Took me 3 days to get this far, and I plan on getting much further.
Excellent. I can't wait for the Mac port.
That's going to be a little hard. So this is for school, and we're using XNA, and XNA is a Microsoft thing. It only works on Xbox and Windows, which is unfortunate.
No, I know. I'm teasing you.
So that's unfortunate, but anyways, yeah, that's the end of the community side notes segment. Let's move on to the news.
Wow, we made it through quickly.
Yeah. We have the art asset overview number 25. Let's take a look at this.
Welcome to the Overgrowth art asset overview. In this video, I'm going to show off some of the work that I did for the new Raider character, starting with a couple of concepts I did. The Raider was the most common enemy type in Lugaru, and so I wanted to make sure I had a solid concept for it. This one's a bit heavily armored, so I started on this other one that looked a little bit more generic. One of the biggest challenges on these characters is that although originality is great, a character that is too original is just kind of confusing to people, I think, and not very interesting, ironically. So what I tried to do for these character designs is incorporate things that people recognize and are familiar with in a new and interesting way. This here is the final concept for the Raider. And here's the 3D version that I made. I have not done the morph targets for the hands or the mouth, so he looks a little bit silly, but this was the first time that I got a character into the engine without David's help, so I was pretty excited about that. It has taken a while, but I'm starting to finally feel a little bit more comfortable working in Blender. I worked on one other thing this week, but I'm going to leave that for David to show in his video. That's it for this edition of the Overgrowth Art Asset Overview. Don't forget, you can pre-order the game at wolfire.com/preorder. Thanks.
So yeah, that's this week's art asset overview. And he talks a bit about what we talked about in the interview last week, or yeah, last week it was, yeah?
Yeah, we had a little bit of a preview. I think it was actually 2 weeks ago now, but yeah, the he gave us a sort of a sneak peek, and it is great to see it finally come out here in the end. He just told me that he's never played Left 4 Dead, so he had no idea about the Hunter.
I see.
Which people keep comparing it to, which is not a fair comparison, because his character is much cooler anyway.
Yeah. It's much more copacetic. I don't even think you can say that it's much more copacetic, but I'm going to say it like that anyway. Yeah, like this character in general, it's super duper great. It's nice to have I actually like that there now is a general character in the game. I personally, for some reason, very much like general characters, especially like being... a character that's like just some dude that has a helmet on, so you can't see his face, and he doesn't have anything really special about him. For some reason, I like those characters, especially when they actually have something, when they talk, etc. Because it allows you to bring their own looks to them, if that makes sense.
Sure.
You have to use your imagination to build out the character.
Right. Also, it's faceless minions, and if you kill the faceless, then you don't care as much. They can't be like, look into my puppy dog eyes. Don't kill me.
It would be funny if they actually did that. You go around the corner and then there's this dude and he's like, please don't kill me. Look into my eyes. And then his eyes are like tennis balls.
Exactly.
Like, oh, I can't kill that. And then when you walk past him, he just stabs you in the back. Oh yeah.
This sounds like you have your first mod, your next mod for the game coming up.
Yes, the large eyes mod.
Exactly.
So, Art Editor review number 25. These Art Editor reviews are always so exciting to see. I love them.
And the another thing a lot of people talk about is the new concept art where Aubrey sort of took his 2D concept, I guess, into 3ds Max. Is that what it is? And then sort of created a three-dimensional version of it, or else he did the concept in 3ds Max. I don't totally understand that, but it looks awesome. It looks fantastic to see it in that sort of three-dimensional space, and you really get an idea of what the character would look like sort of in games. So
yeah, a lot of people actually commented on that in particular. This little, I don't know if it's a render or if it's from the actual game. They have the like camera movement stuff, etc. from in the game that you can use if you want to. So maybe use that. But yeah, I mean, it looks really cool. A lot of people reacted on it, and I understand why, because it's a really, really interesting effect you get when you can obviously see that it's in 2D, but at the same time you can also see that it is somehow in 3D. It's really nice.
Right. Yeah. So he mentioned that he wanted to do this more, I believe, somewhere, and so I'm looking forward to seeing concept art like this, as long as making concept art this way doesn't distract him from, making that actual character in the game, which I think will be important to see. And some of the other little details that we see on this character make it into the full model will be awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Copacetic. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so Sai in the chat actually apparently asked Ninjas about it, and yeah, I can see Ninjas writing it in the chat right now. And Ninjas is Aubrey, the guy who made this, by the way. And he did set it up in 3ds Max.
Right.
So that's cool. That's an Art Editor review. Nice.
Yay, Aubrey.
Aubrey. Okay, you're not. Okay.
So, sorry, Aubrey. Aubrey.
Slow reaction time.
Are we? And then, I really hope that we see this character in the game soon, or with full morph targets and all that kind of fun jazz.
That would be a copacetic, to say the least.
Yes.
Next we have the humble intro version bundle. So is this still running, by the way?
I think they have 1 or 2 days left.
It's 2 days and 2 hours left to get the humble introversion bundle, where you get Uplink, Darwinia, Defcon, Multivinia, Aquaria, Cranon Physics, Dungeons of Dreadmore, Subversion, City Generator, a voxel tech demo, and the source code for Darwinia, Multivinia, Defcon, and Uplink. Yes. And
Yes.
you can pay whatever you want, but if you pay more than, you need to pay more than $4.11 to get Aquaria, Crayon Physics Deluxe, and Dungeons of Dreadmore.
I started playing both Uplink and Dungeons of Dreadmore last night, and they're both pretty cool. Uplink is much more complex than I was expecting it to be. Somehow.
It's cool though.
It is. It takes forever to get through the tutorials, which I actually have only done the first 2 tutorials because it's just a lot of reading and a lot of trying to understand what the game is about, especially for people like me.
Yeah, but it's a hacking game, am I right?
Correct.
So you pretend that you're a hacker, and you feel pretty hacker-ish when you play the game as well. So I think they really nailed that. It's a really cool game.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
like all of these games are actually very much worth it, in my opinion. So if you haven't gotten this bundle yet, and you don't know if you're interested in any of these games, I'm pretty sure you would be actually interested in some of them at least. I think you can just click them and check a video right here, for instance.
Right. Oh, and Dungeons of Dreadmore is pretty cool. I had seen it at Indiecade at E3, and definitely a fun game. You die a lot, and that's kind of the fun part about it.
It's like Dwarf Fortress.
Yes.
Dying is fun. Yay! Or losing is fun, I
Yay.
think even. But the news about this bundle is that Dungeons of Dreadmore and the source code was added. And there you go.
Yes. Sweet.
Sweet tweets. And maybe we'll see another bundle very soon. I don't know, maybe they're doing one for Christmas. That would make sense, I think.
Well, they've also been hinting at an HIB 4, and that would be something I think that people would look forward to.
Absolutely. That would be sweet. Okay, now we have a few tweets. We're at 59 minutes right now. Let's get through these tweets, man. At lightning speed. Okay, so one guy asked, can you work on an auto-updater for Windows for your next release? Even a batch file would be better than manually moving files. And David answers, we should have Steam keys working soon, which should help with Mac/Windows auto-updating until we have our own proper one. What can I say? Like, fist pump, fist pump, fist pump.
All those Steam fans should get excited. Prepare your wallets who haven't pre-ordered.
Yes.
Overgrowth is coming to Steam.
Absolutely. I wouldn't consider myself a fan of Steam, but I found it very, very easy when you don't have to manually download every update and apply it yourself. You just start your computer on Monday, and then I go to school, and then when I come back I have the latest alpha installed and ready to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bye torrent for me when this happens, which should be soon. Next we have jumping animations. Some users have complained about the jumping animations. Does anyone have a reference video for other ways that big jumps could look? Can you come up with any good ideas for how a big jump could look, other than the current one?
You know, I mean, I think the only things that I ever miss are sort of a preparation for the jump. You know, one thing in animation is that you know, naturally people sort of when you move to something, you sort of actually move in the opposite direction for like a frame in animation before you actually move forward. So some form of slight preparation might help, but you know, in terms of big jumps, I know that David has looked at a lot of parkour videos and things like that for big jumps, and I'm not really sure. You know, I think the thing that people complain about the most are sort of the arms sort of push back and straight down, and maybe he can work on the arm movement. I really don't know a good reference though. How about you?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it a bit, and like you said, I think it's the arms as well that people actually complain about. Yeah, and I think the problem is that they're just straight, so it kind of looks like when you jump, they kind of boing, like they're made of rubber almost. I don't know, maybe I can bring up the game and yeah, it almost looks like it, because he has this thing where his animations automatically look more like they have a bit of weight to them. So if you look at this in slow motion, you can actually see them bouncing. Okay, now I have super speed here, so let's change my jumping speed. So I can actually show what I'm talking about. You can see how the arms kind of shake like that. Like they're, yeah, rubbery almost. They're like boing.
Right.
And I think that's what kind of looks weird about it. I think all that he needs to do is make the arms like bent somehow, like either entirely bent or like slightly bent or something like that, so that he looks more like he's controlling himself rather than being like, oh, my arms are I can't control my arms, so they're just hanging there.
Yeah, also, you know, I think this was somewhat of a placeholder animation intended to come back to look at it again, so we'll see.
Yep. So hopefully, maybe even in the next alpha, if we're lucky, we'll see a new cool jumping animation.
Yeah, could be interesting.
I agree. And next we have attack damage parameter. Added attack damage parameter to modulate how much damage different characters inflict. Thumbs up.
Yes.
And someone actually asked him about if attack damage does change how much you fly away when you hit someone, like the enemy. And he actually hadn't thought about that, but he was going to include that. So
Nice.
That's going to be pretty damn sweet. To like roundhouse kick a character and he flies 50 meters or something.
Right, versus just
2
a little
meters.
bit less. Exactly.
Next we have another tweet, palette swapping. Starting to work on... Yeah, go ahead.
No. Announce it.
Yeah, starting to work on palette swapping for characters for an easy way to make characters look different, especially for modders. Wink. I added the wink there on my own. He didn't actually wink. Or maybe he did, but he didn't write that he did, if he did.
I'm sure he meant it, for sure.
Yeah.
And, yes. Hooray for palettes. This should be awesome. Palette swapping.
Absolutely. I'm thinking this is changing the colors on the characters, am I right?
That's, yeah, I'm guessing, like, if you were to create a palette, you could say, okay, these are the types of pants you could have, these are different designs. I think there could be actually a lot of different ways that you could just change the palette and have the whole character change its look very easily.
So you could change, for example, like his fur color, like maybe there could be 2 different fur colors you could change, and then they could be like one color for the pants, one color for the shirt, one color for the body armor, etc.
Those, you know, what I don't know, of course, is how modular it's going to be. But ideally, you know, it could be like if you change the color palette or the palette for one thing, like you would change the whole look. You know, like you could do that, but then if it's modular, then yes, exactly like you're saying, it could be one thing for fur, one thing for body armor, one thing for all the different parts. So the question is whether it's going to be pre-made like groupings that you change everything at once, or if it's going to be modular, and we'll see how that goes.
Actually, that I found something that I didn't actually know what it was in the files this week. So that might be related, because I found a file that was like... let's see, let's open it up so I can see. This might actually be nothing at all, but if you go into textures, characters, IGF guard, and then we have IGF guard fur mask. Let's see, data, textures, characters. So this is like real-time investigation right here. This is exciting.
Nice.
So if you go to D, games, no, not OG, auto-updater, overgrowth, data, and then we have textures. I should bring that out there. Textures, characters, IGF guard. And do we have the fur mask? Does everyone have a fur mask? No? No. So if you look at this, the fur mask could, for example, be used to change the color on just the fur. Because if we open this up in GIMP,
Mm-hmm.
let GIMP load here for a while, and then we bring this into GIMP. As you can see, let's change the levels here on the alpha, so you can see it better. And this should like filter out just the fur. Yeah, so all the fur looks like it's white in this image and everything else is black. So if you use this image, you could say that everything that is affected by this mask should change color, for instance. And that seems like that makes sense, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So I don't know if that's actually the case, but I had no idea what this file was actually for when I found it, and
That certainly
yeah.
could be the case. Yeah.
That's really cool. I hope that is the case because, well, it's going to be super duper.
Exactly.
But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, and that would actually be the end of the show because we have no more items on the agenda, and we only are 8 minutes over over 1 hour.
Wow. Yeah, I guess picking up the pace paid off.
Oh yeah. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
And don't forget, David will be here next week, so once again, set your alarms.
Nice. Don't want to miss that.